Welcome to another live mock test where you can get your questions answered, and I break your theory test down in simple format really to show you hints, tips and tricks on how you should tackle your theory test. My name is Dorian, Think to Success, and what I do is do mock tests for you guys, giving you the chance of passing your theory test hopefully first time, because I know you guys struggle with the theory test as well. If you didn't know, I am a driving instructor. I've been a driving instructor for 27 years. So, and I do this every week on my classes. We run intensive courses which consist of theory training in the morning for a couple of hours and then driving over the course of the week, and the pupils tend to take the theory test on the 5th day and fingers crossed go on past it. So that's what I do, and because I've seen what's happened in the classroom, that's the reason why this channel was formed, and I like to help you guys as much as I possibly can. If you have any issues or problems, or you want your questions answers, put it in the comments below and I'll answer it as we go along. I will be doing a 50 question mock test as well, again showing you hints and tips and tricks along the way depending on what questions come up. It is live, so I don't know what questions are going to come up, but I will tackle any issues. Also with your driving, again a lot of people are DMing me about the driving questions. I'll help you with that as well, because like I said, I am a driving instructor. Next year I will do a combination of theory training and some live driving lessons, mock test assessment, so look out for that in next year. And I will be doing an online course as well at some point next year, because you guys are still asking me for help on an individual basis, which obviously I can't do, but I will try and do it as a group session online course via Zoom, and that's something I'm working on. So again, hopefully that'll be live in the first couple of months, if not in the first quarter of next year. So if you are really struggling, want my help, let me know. Put your name down on the waiting list if you like, and I'll make sure I get you sorted out when that goes live. So as I do normally, I want to just break down the theory test itself, just in case you're new, just started studying for the theory test, don't know how it works and what the DVSA are looking for. So let me just get rid of that and then go back to that. Right, so if you didn't know, the theory test is multiple choice. You have 50 questions. You normally have 4 options. I call it A, B, C, D, but it's not literally labelled that. But you have 4 options and you choose one out of the 4. If they want more than one answer, they will ask you for it and say select 2 answers. The theory test, it's 50 questions and you need 43 out of 50 to pass that. You have 57 minutes to do this. I see this in the classroom. A lot of pupils race through it, trying to do it in 15-20 minutes, and obviously failing it in the classroom on the apps when we do it. So what I get them to do is slow themselves down, read the questions carefully, read the answers carefully. You've got 57 minutes, so there's not going to be an issue with the time. And if you study well before you get into it, you're not going to take 57 minutes. It's very rare that our pupils take anywhere near 57 minutes when it comes to taking the real test. But while you're studying, take the time to read the questions and answer carefully. What they are looking for is a safe option. And a little tip for you guys: if it's got safety, safely in the answer, you have to shortlist it as a possible. It doesn't always work, but that is what you want to do. You start to shortlist it as a possible answer and then go from there. Similar to the driving test is about safety and control. The theory test is no different. Safe answer or controlled outcome depending on the situation. And that's what I just said. It's all about controlled outcome. Normally the controlled outcome's to do with the first aid bits and pieces when that comes up, and the answer has to make sense. So hopefully along the way we'll get a couple of questions and I can show you what I mean by it's got to make sense. And then once you've done the questions, you move on to your hazard perception. There's 14 video clips. One of them's got a double hazard, so there's 15 hazards in total. And you need 44 out of 75 to pass that. And obviously you need to pass both parts same time, same day to get your certificate, which lasts for 2 years if you didn't know. Do not overthink the theory test. It's very straightforward. If they give you a question A, B, C, D, that's what it is. Don't add things in, don't take things out. A lot of you guys overthink things and add things into the question. Once you add things in or take things out of that question, it's almost impossible to get the correct answer because technically it's a different question. And last but not least, there is no trick questions. I get that a lot from pupils who always say they're trying to trick us. There's no tricks. It's straightforward, just like your driving test as well. The examiner's not trying to trick you, and the DVSA, when you do the theory test, are not trying to trick you in any shape or form. BK, thanks during the past on theory test with your help and oh, well done. Thank you for the thanks, and thanks for letting me know. Well done. And that's why I do it. It's nice to see when actually people pass their theory test. Let me know if you're taking driving lessons or you're about to start or how far ahead you are in your lessons, because like I said, videos will be coming for your driving lessons next year as well, so stay tuned to the channel for that. Right, so what I'm going to do now is share my screen and then move on to a mock test. Oops. So I'm just going to stream up. So let's get a mock test up. So as I said, we've got 57 minutes. What I'll do is keep an eye on the comments. If there's any questions you want to ask about the questions that come up, feel free to put it in the comments. I'll do my best to answer that while we're going along. I'll keep an eye on the time because like I said, it is live, so we have got 57 minutes. Okay, I wish you luck with that, but like I said, stay tuned to the channel next year. There'll be some driving videos coming out, live mock test assessments, not live mock tests, but mock test assessments, and I will do some lesson videos as well, so you can stay tuned and get some tips on that, and hopefully that helps you out. But well done for passing. Right, first question: what safety device must be fitted to a trailer braking system? So safety device, first option is breakaway cable, corner steadies, jockey wheel and stabilizer. I'm going to break all this down because all 3 out of the 4 answers come from the theory test a lot. Corner steadies do not exist, by the way. That's, I don't know what that is, but it doesn't exist. Breakaway cable, if you read the question again and break it down, what safety device must be fitted to a trailer braking system? Breakaway cable. It's actually breakaway cable. Jockey wheel, the question that normally comes up for that on the theory test is normally where would you find the jockey wheel? It's at the front of a caravan. And stabilizer keeps the caravan stable. It's a little bracket between the car and the caravan. I won't go into too much detail, but basically stabilizer keeps the caravan stable attached to the car. Jockey wheel you find at the front of a caravan. Corner steadies doesn't exist. Breakaway cable is the answer for that question. What would be affected if you carry a very heavy load on your vehicle? If you're carrying heavy loads on your vehicle, let's just try this one. If you're carrying heavy loads on your vehicle, what's going to be affected is the handling of the vehicle. It's going to feel very heavy or unstable if you're carrying too much of a heavy load. So that's what we're looking for. The vehicle's battery, no. The vehicle's handling, yes. Vehicle's ventilation, no. The vehicle's gearbox, no. You are following a large vehicle as it approaches a crossroads. What should you do if the driver signals to turn left? You're following a large vehicle as it approaches a crossroads. What should you do if the driver signals to turn left? You should slow down and hold back if the lorry signals left, because a lorry takes a different route to a car. It's got to swing out. So you should slow down and hold back. So you're looking for something along those lines. Wait for the driver to cancel their signal. No. Wait for the vehicle to finish turning. No. Overtake if there's no oncoming vehicles. No. Overtake if you can leave plenty of room. Right, let's just read that again. Wait for the driver to cancel the signal. No. Wait for the vehicle to finish their turning. Wait for the vehicle to finish the turning. Sorry, it's that one. And this is why I stress why you should always read the questions and answers very carefully. And if you have to do it more than once, feel free to do that. I have mild dyslexia. Sometimes when I read the question, I'm reading it, but I'm not taking the information in. And that's why sometimes I can skip over the correct answer. And that's why I do read it 2-3 times. And again, the pupils that come in our classroom, when they declare they've got a learning disability, I do help them and show them as well. The other thing with dyslexia, if you guys didn't know, you can have the questions read to you on the day of the test through headphones. There's headphones supplied, and all you got to do is pull it on and obviously click on the question, click on the answers, and it's read to you through the headphones. What I find is the students with dyslexia, when it's read to you, it makes life a little bit easier. With me, I'm more of a visual person. I like to read the question. Even though I've got dyslexia, I read it, but obviously I've done it for enough time over years and years of reading, where if I have to read it 3 or 4 times, I don't feel a way about it. So you guys shouldn't feel the same way as well. So let's move on to the next one. Let's get the screen back up. What should you do if there's a bus at a bus stop ahead of you? Pass the bus as quick as possible. There we go again, dyslexia. Pass the bus as quickly as you possibly can. No, going quickly is not a safe option with driving full stop. If someone's crossing in front of the bus, then you may miss them and then obviously hit them. Continue at the same speed, but sound your horn as a warning. If you've got to sound your horn, then should you be continue at the same speed? Is the question you've got to be asking yourself. So the answer is no. Flash your lights to warn the drivers of the driver of your presence. No. If you didn't know, flashing your horn and beeping, flashing your lights and beeping your horn is the same thing the highway code is warning you of your presence, just in case you didn't know that. Watch carefully for sudden appearance of pedestrians. It's going to be this one. You're waiting to emerge from a junction. Emerging is coming out of a junction, coming out of a giveaway line. For those of you taking driving lessons, for those of you not driving, you're at a giveaway line and you're coming out. That's what emerging is. And this is why pupils struggle with their theory test, because the wording makes things confusing, or people don't understand the wording of it. So emerging means coming out from a junction. The windscreen pillar is restricting your view. What should you be particularly aware of? The door pillar is this bit here, and that blocks your view from cyclists and motorbikes. So when you're taking driving lessons, you may want to rock backwards and forwards in your seat to eliminate the door pillars. That's for your driving lessons, but for theory test it's going to be motorcyclists or cyclists. So motorcyclists is the first one, but I'll still read the others. Buses, no. Lorries, no. Coaches, no. Those 3 are nice and big, you're going to always see them. Cyclists, motorcyclists are a lot smaller, obviously. What's most likely to distract you while you're driving? Okay, the key word there is most likely. Using the window wipers, no. Using a mobile phone, most likely, yes. And it's also illegal to use your mobile phone, so straight away you can tick that one. Using the mirrors, that shouldn't be distracting, because mirrors are your lifesavers. You're going to be using it anyway, and you should be using them. Using the misters on a day like this, when your windows are getting steamed up, ice, you're going to be using your demisters as well, so that's not going to be distracting. In order to supervise a learner driver, you need to have held a full driver license for the same category of vehicle for at least 3 years. What other requirements must you meet? Over 21. The full requirements: have your license held for 3 years and be over 21. To be an approved driving instructor, no. You can learn with family members and friends. To have a car with dual controls, no. To hold an advanced driving certificate, no. And to be at least 21, yes. A police officer asks to see your documents. You don't have them with you. How many days do you have to produce from that police station? If you get stopped by the police, and you don't have your documents with you, they will give you a thing called a producer, which comes up on the theory test. You can produce your documents at any police station that you nominate, and you have a maximum of 7 days. My advice to you guys as new drivers, once you pass your driving test, always have your full license on you, but your insurance and MOT always leave at home just in case someone gets their hands on it. So the answer is going to be 7 days. So 14 days no, 21 days no, 7 days yes, and 5 days, let's get rid of that, and 5 days no, so it's going to be 7 days. How should you use anti-lock brakes when you need to stop in emergency? Anti-lock brakes, if you didn't know, it's called ABS for short. It's on every modern day car now. Basically, if the car goes into a skid, the car unlocks the brakes for you. So the key word there is an emergency. So keep pumping the foot brake to prevent skidding, no. Apply the parking brake to reduce stopping distance. The parking brake is handbrake. You're never going to use handbrake and foot brake at the same time to stop a car. Brake normally, but grip the steering wheel tightly. It's an emergency, so you're not going to brake normally. And brake promptly and firmly until you have stopped. Brake promptly for them is quickly and firmly. And that's the emergency stop exercise for those of you taking driving lessons. In which conditions will your overall stopping distance increase? So, which conditions? It's either going to be rain, ice or snow is what we're looking for. Strong winds, no. Fog, no. In the rain, yes. If you didn't know, in the rain your stopping distance is doubled. And at night, no. So in rain it's doubled, ice and snow is up to 10 times more. Again, that one comes up a lot as well on the theory test. What's the main cause of skidding? Right, this question comes up a lot. And most pupils will go for, when in the classroom, they go for weather. Let me just show you this. You've got weather here, the weather. Believe it or not, skidding has nothing to do with the weather. 99.9% of skids is driver error. So if the question comes up, you're looking for driver. If driver is not your option, you're now looking for road surface, and that's like loose sand, gravel, because you can be very careful on those type of surfaces, but the car can still skid. But it's driver, and it's the first one out of the hat, to be fair on that one. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me just explain. If it's raining and the car skids, the driver left the brake in late. If it's snowing, the car skids, the driver left it late. And if it's dry, car skids, driver left it late. Hence why it's got nothing to do with the weather. It's the driver leaving the brake in late. You are driving at night on an unlit road. What should you do if you're following another vehicle? Okay, let's look for the safest options. Switch off your headlights. You're driving at night on an unlit road, so it's unlit, so you don't want to be switching off your headlights because you can't be seen. Use full beam headlights. You wouldn't use full beam if you're following someone. Full beam is the brightest lights, which means you can blind someone, in other words, dazzle someone. Use dipped headlights, which is going to be that one out of all of them at the moment, and flash your headlights. And again, you shouldn't be flashing anyone. Let me just read the answers again just to make sure. Switch off your headlights, definitely not, because you need them on because it's unlit. Full beam, you're following another vehicle, so you wouldn't use full beam. It's going to be dip headlights, because you wouldn't be flashing your headlights. You are travelling at the legal speed limit. What should you do if a vehicle behind approaches quickly flashing his headlights? Touch the brake sharply to show your brake lights. No. Once it's got sharp in the answer, it's going to be wrong because it doesn't lead to safety. So you can eliminate that one. Allow the vehicle to overtake. That's a possible one. So the reason for that, because if it's flashing coming quickly, it could be an unmarked police car, for example. And that's what they would do because you won't know they're police, because there won't be no flashing blue lights. So it could be that. Maintain your speed to prevent the vehicle from overtaking. You're preventing someone from overtaking you. Again, it can't be safe if you're stopping people from overtaking. And accelerate to make a gap behind you, which makes no sense. So it's going to be that one. What will happen if you follow this vehicle too closely? Okay, what will happen if you, with a large vehicle, you're driving, again this is for those of you taking driving lessons, if you're following someone closely, you're driving blind, you should always hold back so you can see their wing mirrors. There's a saying, if you can't see my wing mirrors, I can't see you, and that is true. So always make sure you leave a safe gap between you and a large vehicle. But let's see what options they give us. Your view ahead will be reduced, yeah, because you can't see. Your brakes will overheat, no. Your engine will overheat, no. Your fuel consumption will be increased, no. And this goes back to what I was saying about your answer has to make sense. If you go to this one, your brakes will overheat. Just because you drive behind someone closely, your brakes are not going to overheat. Makes no sense. Your engine will overheat, no. You're driving normally, and your fuel consumption will be increased, no. So these three answers make no sense whatsoever. So by default, you're just left with this one, and that's how it works in the theory test. There's always one stupid answer in there anyway, always one. And if you don't know what the answer is, if you go through process of elimination, go backwards, work out what it can't be, sometimes you're just left with a 50-50, and in this case, we're left with the correct answer anyway. So that's how it works. And that's why you guys should not panic when you go for the real test when the question comes up. Never panic. Always work out, right, you know what, I'm not sure what the answer is. Let me work out what it can't be and then go from there. Also as well, I will add, if you're not sure what the answer is, rather than stressing on it, if you look down here, it's got flag. On the real test, you can flag the answer, or the question should I say, and then move on. If you know 45, 46 for sure, you're passing anyway, so no point stressing over the ones you flagged. So there's nothing wrong with flagging and moving on, and then when you finish the 50 questions, go back to the flagged ones and then work out from there. Sometimes you may get two questions similar, and it may just jog your memory, and go back to the flagged one and do it that way. So never stress about your theory test, especially if you studied for it anyway. Because if you studied for it, the information's there, you just don't realise it. What should you do when dealing with this hazard? Ford. If you didn't know, Ford is a lot of surface water. The way you should deal with this is drive slowly, i.e. first and second gear if you're taking driving lessons, but drive slowly, which will be first and second gear, and test your brakes after you come out the other side. So it could be any one of those ones which I just explained. Switch on your hazard warning lights, no. Switch on your windscreen wipers. You won't need that if you're driving slowly. If you're going to drive fast through a lot of water, then obviously it's going to splash on your windscreen, so you're going to need it. Use a low gear, drive slowly, which is what I said. So yeah, always drive slowly through a lot of water, and use a high gear to prevent wheel spin, which is going to be no. You've been driving in fog. What must you do when the visibility improves? If you're driving in fog, you're going to have your fog lights on. Once you come out the other side of fog, or it clears, in this case visibility improves, turn your fog lights off, because your fog lights are bright enough to dazzle people in broad daylight, so you want to turn your fog lights off. So again, looking for something along those lines, or turning the fog lights off. Leave your fog lights switched on in case the fog returns, no. Keep your front fog lights switched on, no. Keep your rear fog lights switched on, no. Switch off your fog lights, yes. What will happen if you use rear fog lights in good conditions? And this is what I was saying to you about the flood questions. Sometimes you get some questions that's very similar that may jog your memory. This is the same question, believe it, as a previous one, just worded differently, which is going to give you a slightly different answer. As I said to you earlier on, if you use fog lights in broad daylight, it can dazzle drivers, so we're looking for something along those lines. They'll make it safer when towing a trailer. No. They'll protect you from larger vehicles. No. They'll dazzle other drivers. Yes. They'll make drivers behind keep back. Nothing's going to make drivers keep back, so it's going to be that answer. At an incident, someone is unconscious and you want to help. What would be the first thing to check? Right. Let's read that again. At an incident, someone is unconscious and you want to help. So they're unconscious. Right. Whether their airways open. Weird way of saying it. I'm going to tick that for now. Whether they have any allergies, no. Whether they're comfortable, no. Whether their vehicle's insured, no. These make no sense. Again, that one, maybe. Yeah, they're unconscious. You want to make sure their airways open so they're breathing, basically, because obviously if someone's been in an incident, they could have swallowed their tongue, they could be not breathing, so make sure the airways open and that they are breathing on that. An injured person has been placed in a recovery position. They're unconscious but breathing normally. What else should be done? Again, this is similar to the question before, just worded slightly differently. Press firmly between their shoulders, no. Give them a hot sweet drink. You never give someone a drink at a scene of an incident, by the way. Cold water or water, yes, but a hot drink, definitely not. Place the arms by their side. If they're in the recovery position, let's word that again. If they're in the recovery position, the arms are going to be by their side anyway, because that's the recovery position. And check the airways remain open. So like I said, it's similar to the question previously, and it's the same thing. Check to make sure the airways remains open, because they can still swallow their tongue in the recovery position. You're going through a long tunnel. What will warn you of congestion or an incident ahead? Right, areas with the hatch markings, no. Variable message signs. Yes, if you didn't know, variable message signs, it's like a sign and it can be updated, speed limits, lane closures, anything on it to let you know there's stuff coming or gonna be happening later on. So that's what it is, variable message signs. And the ferry test, it normally says variable message displays rather than signs. Other drivers flashing their lights, no. Hazard warning lines. Hazard warning lines only lets you know there's a hazard coming up. It doesn't warn you of congestion, but it also doesn't tell you what the hazard is, by the way. What do these motorway signs mean? If you didn't know, these are countdown markers and they're in yards. The units are yards. So they're 300 yards, 200, 100. Taking driving lessons, you should be sticking between 2 and 1 ideally. Just in case you didn't know, because they come up in different colours in the real ferry test. So blue and white, as it says there, a motorway. Green and white is dual carriageways. Black and white on approach to a roundabout. Red and white on approach to a level crossing or a concealed entrance or exit. I'll just repeat that again. Blue and white is motorways. Green and white, dual carriageways. Black and white, approach to a roundabout. Red and white on approach to a level crossing without gate or barrier or a concealed entrance or exit. So we're looking for countdown markers on this one. They're countdown markers to the next exit. Again, always still read the other ones just in case. They're distant markers to the next telephone, no. They're countdown markers to a bridge, no. They warn of police control ahead, no. How should you rejoin the motorway after a breakdown on a hard shoulder? How should you rejoin the motorway after a breakdown on a hard shoulder? Okay. Wait until a vehicle in the left-hand lane signals to you that it's safe to rejoin. Right, this is what I was saying to you before about safety, safe, and safely. It's got safe in the answer, but it doesn't make sense because it says wait until a vehicle in the left-hand lane signals to you that it's safe to rejoin. It's on the motorway, they're doing 70 miles an hour. You're never going to get from 0 to 70 that quick. So that is not a safe option, even though it's got safe in the answer. Keep your hazard lights flashing until you have safely rejoined the carriageway. Again, it's got safely, safe in this one, safely in this one, but it's got hazard lights on. Shouldn't be having hazard lights on that one. So again, that one doesn't make sense. Move straight out into the left-hand lane as you are not allowed to drive on the hard shoulder. You are allowed to drive on the hard shoulder after a breakdown, so it's not that one. And build up speed on the hard shoulder before looking for a safe gap in the traffic. Look, safe. Let me just break this down again for you guys, because this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's got safe here, but this one does not make sense, because like I said, you can't go from 0 to 70 straight away. Keep your hazard lights on. Safely in the answer doesn't make sense. Build up speed on the hard shoulder before looking for a safe gap. Got safe in the answer. This is the right answer, or the correct answer. There's going to be that one, and that's why I said if it's got safe, safely, safe in the answer, shortlist is a possible, but see if it makes sense. If it does not make sense, it cannot be right, obviously. Which vehicles are prohibited from using the motorway? Powered mobility scooters. Right, powered mobility scooters are the disabled scooters. I believe top speed is 8 miles an hour. Motorways is 70, so they're not going to be allowed on the motorway. Double decker buses, yeah, can be 60 miles an hour. Motorcycles over 50cc, yes, and obviously cars with automatic transmission can be on the motorway. Mobility scooters are the disabled scooters, because again, people don't realise what powered mobility scooters are. A cycle lane marked by a solid white line is in operation. What does this mean for car drivers? If it's in operation by a solid white line, it means you as a driver cannot go in there. You should not be crossing that line at any point. They may park in the lane. No, they mustn't drive along the lane. They mustn't drive along the lane. That's weird, really weird. I'm going to tick that for now. They may use the lane when necessary. No. They may drive in the lane at any time. No. This one's weird, really weird. They mustn't drive along the lane. It should be not drive in the lane. But yeah, it's going to be this one based on all others, because you can't do none of these three. What's the meaning of this sign? This is a parking restriction. You got this one, and then you got another red going across it, which is a shows an X. With the X, it's no stopping at any time, but this one's a parking restriction. It means you can drop off and pick up your passengers, but you can't wait for them. So school crossing patrol, no. Waiting restriction, yes. National speed limit, if you didn't know, national speed limit is black and white, and no entries, red, and a white in the middle. How should you signal if you're going straight ahead at a roundabout? Right, when this question comes up, they're talking about a big roundabout, by the way, not a small roundabout, not a mini roundabout, say small, not a mini roundabout, they're talking about a big roundabout. So no signal on approach, but signal after the exit you no longer need is what we're looking for, something along those lines. Signal right on approach. If you're going straight ahead, there is no signal on approach, so once it's got signal right on approach, it's not going to be correct. Signal right on approach. Again, it's got signal right on approach, so we can eliminate that. Signal left after you leave a roundabout and enter the new road. Signal left after you leave the roundabout. That's too late, you left the roundabout. Signal left just after you pass the exit before the one you're going to take, so it's going to be this one. You're waiting at a level crossing. What must you do if a train passes while the lights keep flashing? Keep waiting. Just be patient and keep waiting. Trains normally go in pairs, one from the left, one from the right. So if one has passed, there should be another one on its way. So phone the signal operator, no. Park and investigate, no. Carry on waiting, yes. That's the safest option. Edge over the stop line and look for trains, no. You see a pedestrian carrying a white stick that also has a red band. What does this mean? And again, this comes up a lot, and the pupil always goes, in the classroom, always goes for blind. 2 colours, white stick with a red band. 2 colours, 2 disabilities. So he's deaf and blind. So that's what we're looking for. They're blind, no. They're deaf, no. They're deaf and blind, yes. They have limited mobility, no. What should you do if the left-hand pavement is closed due to street repairs? What should you do if the left-hand pavement is closed due to street repairs? Be aware pedestrians walking the road is going to be the safest option. Watch out for pedestrians walking the road straight away. If the pavement's closed, pedestrians are going to be walking the road. That's the safest one. Use the right-hand mirror more often. Again, that makes no sense because you're using a right-hand mirror for the left-hand pavement. Position close to the left-hand curb. Definitely not. You should be a metre away from the curb. Speed up to get past robots more quickly. And again, once you're speeding, that's going to be wrong anyway, so it's going to be that one. Why do motorcyclists use dip headlights in daylight? The reason why motorcyclists use dip headlights in daylight is so they could be seen clearly. That's the reason for it. The rider is inviting you to proceed, no. To improve riders' vision, no. So the rider could be seen more easily, yes. To stop the battery overcharging, no. You're travelling behind a moped. What should you do if you want to turn left a short distance ahead? You're travelling behind a moped. What should you do if you want to turn left a short distance ahead? Stay behind. It's going to be the safest option. Pull alongside the moped and stay level until just before the junction. No. Stay behind until the moped has passed the junction. Yes. Sound your horn as a warning. Once you don't need to be doing that, so it's going to be no. Overtake the moped before the junction. Again, no. How can you reduce the risk of your vehicle being broken into at night? So how can you reduce the risk? Parking a quiet side road. This is what most pupils go through in the classroom. That's what a thief wants, a quiet road where you're not going to be disturbed. So it's not going to be that one. Park in a poorly lit area. That's similar to that. It's not the safest place. Don't engage the steering lock. Again, no. Leave it in a well lit area. Well lit. So if the thief breaks the window, for example, makes noise, someone looks out the window, they could be seen clearly. That's what you want. What's the most important reason for having a properly adjusted head restraint? If you didn't know, head restraints stops you from getting whiplash or cause neck injuries. So it's something along those lines we're looking for. To make you more comfortable, no. To help you avoid neck injury, yes. To help you relax, no. To help you maintain your driving position, no. What's the purpose of a catalytic converter? Right, this comes up a lot and pupils don't know what a catalytic converter is. I'm not going to go into detail. Basically something in exhaust that cleans the bits and pieces up before it spits out the exhaust at the back. And you're looking for something that's going to clean the exhaust fumes, make the exhaust cleaner. And that's all it does. So it just cleans the exhaust emissions, cleans the exhaust gases. To reduce harmful exhaust gases, yep. To reduce the risk of fire, no. To reduce fuel consumption, no. To reduce engine wear, no. How should you dispose of a used vehicle battery? Local authority, take it to a recycling centre. is the answer you're looking for. Put it in dustbin, no. Bury it in your garden, no. Not everyone's got a garden, by the way, so you can't be doing that. Take it to a local authority disposal site, yeah, your recycling centre. Leave it on wasteland, no. You're leaving your vehicle parked on the road and unattended. When may you leave the engine running? You should never leave the engine running on your car. Always turn it off. One, to save the environment and less risk of someone stealing your car, basically. When passing 20-mile-an-hour zone, no. If your battery keeps going flat, no. Never if you're away from the vehicle, yes. If you'll be parking for less than 5 minutes, no. Right, level crossings. You're driving towards this level crossing. What would be the first warning of an approaching train? There's only 2 colour lights on the level crossing, if you didn't know. There's amber and there's red. Flashing amber, flashing red. So the first warning a train's come is going to be flashing amber. One half of the barrier down, no. A steady amber light, yes. Both half barriers down, no. Twin flashing red lights, no. There's going to be the amber light. What should you do if the vehicle starts reversing off the driveway? If the vehicle's reversing off the driveway, you want to beep your horn to warn of your presence. That's what the horn's for, is to warn of your presence. So you want to sound your horn. Speed up and drive through quickly. Again, it's got quick in the answer, can't be correct. Sound your horn and be prepared to stop, yes. Drive through as you have priority. You may have priority, but it doesn't mean to say that car's going to give it to you, so it may not be safe. Move to the opposite side of the road. If you're driving on the wrong side of the road, again, it can't be safe as an outcome. What should you do if you start to feel drowsy while you're driving the motorway? If you start to feel tired on the motorway, you want to find a service station to pull over and get some rest. So you're looking for a service station of some kind. Stop on the hard shoulder for a sleep. It's illegal to stop on the hard shoulder. It's not safe to stop on the hard shoulder. Slow down and let other drivers overtake, no. Open a window and stop as soon as it's safe and legal. That's going to be the safest option. Open a window, get some fresh air and stop. And again, safe and legal, and that's your service station. Speed up to arrive at your destination soon. Again, speed can't be correct or safe. What must you do if poor health affects your driving? If you have poor health, you have to let the DVLA know about it. They may put restrictions on your license as well. So avoid using motorways, no. Inform your local police, no. Always drive accompanied, no. Inform the licensing authority, that's the DVLA. So if your health changes, you need to let them know. What might you expect to happen in this situation? So if you read the sign 800 yards, the right hand lane closes off and everyone's got to move to the left hand lane. Traffic speed will increase, no, definitely not, it's going to be slowing down. Traffic won't need to change positions, yes, they will need to. Traffic will move into the right hand lane, no, because the right hand lane is closed off. Traffic will move into the left hand lane. Traffic's going to move into the left hand lane, so it's going to be that one. What does this traffic sign mean? It means 3/4 of a mile ahead is going to become 15 miles an hour. Advised separation distance, no. Compulsory minimum speed limit. Minimum speed limit is in a blue circle. Advisory maximum speed limit. Compulsory maximum speed limit. It's going to be compulsory. What does this sign mean? No overtaking. Car side by side is no overtaking. If you didn't know as well, 90% of red circles are no's. So you're looking for a no in answer. If your little tip for you, if you've got a red circle on your test and you don't know what it means, go to your 4 options, isolate 2 with nose. I always give you 2 with nose, and then go back to the image and work out from there. Becomes easy. So that's not overtaking, so I'll show you straight away. They always give you 2 with nose, no, no, so you can eliminate these 2. So it's no overtaking or no motor vehicles. It can't be no motor vehicle because you've got 2 motor cars there. So it's got to be not overtaking. That's why I said it becomes easy once you isolate the 2 with nose, and that. It's going to be that one. What does this sign mean? This is speed humps. Soft verges, no. Hump in the road, yes. Entrance to tunnel, no. Hump bridge. A lot of people get confused between these 2. A hump bridge would have a white bit underneath, so I suggest you can go under as well as over. Because it's blank, it's humps in the road. That's how you can tell the difference. What does this sign mean again? No. Isolate the 2 with nose, so no right turn, no traffic from the right. So you can eliminate these 2, go back to the image, the arrow's pointing to the right, so it's no right turn. What does this sign mean? This sign means you cannot park on the times shown. No parking on the days and times shown. You can park on the days and times shown. You can park on the days and times. No, you can't. End of urban clearway restrictions. No parking at all from Monday to Friday. You can park after 9:30 but before 4:30, and obviously park after 6:30 PM, so that's the one you're looking for. If you didn't know, this one's diversion. They can give you different shapes, different colours. This is a diversion marker. What does this sign indicate? Diversion route. Picnic area, pedestrian zone, a cycling route. No, all no to those. And now we have the case studies. So let's just watch the video. Don't be afraid to watch the video 2 or 3 times when you're doing your theory test as well, because sometimes you miss whatever it is going on the first time round. Okay, let's find out what the questions are. What do the lines along the centre of the road mean? These are hazard lines. They're long, small gaps, so they're hazard lines. And the reason for that, if you remember from the video, it had the bend, so it's warning you of a bend coming up. So there's a hazard ahead. That's the one we're looking for. You want to overtake the tractor. What should you do? So safety reasons. Let's look for safety. Overtake straight after the oncoming car passes. Speed up and overtake before you get to the bend. You should never overtake before a bend. You should overtake after the bend. Sound your horn and make the tractor pull over. Stay behind and wait until you have a clear view. This is the safest option. Stay behind and wait until you have a clear view, because if you know it's clear, then you know it's safe to overtake. Why has the tractor got a flashing amber light on? Now, if you didn't know, amber flashing lights are for slow moving vehicles. That's what the amber light means. There's 3 on the theory test. 3 of them comes up. Let me just go through it, break it down. Blue are your emergency vehicles. That's your ambulance, fire engines and police cars. Sometimes they give you the question with the blue light. Let's just do this. Hold on one sec. Sometimes they give you one with the question with the blue light, but they don't have the obvious ones on there, the fire engine, police cars and everything else. You want to look for the one that saves human life, and the 2 outside of the obvious ones are coast guards and bomb disposal units. So that's your blue lights. Your green is your doctors, and amber is your slow moving vehicles. So anything with amber light is going to be your slow moving vehicles. That's your dust carts, your snow gritters, for example. So that's why the tractor's got the flashing amber on there. Slow moving, to warn you, it's slow moving vehicle. So there you have it. Hopefully you got little bits of hit tips, golden nuggets from that. If you guys have any problems with your theory test, you are struggling with your theory test, put it in the comments, let me know. I'll do my best to answer the question, or maybe even just do a video for that particular question if necessary. But I'm trying to help as much of you guys as possible to pass your theory test. If you are struggling, let me know. Do not be afraid to put it in the comments. I'm here to help you guys. I want to wish you guys all the best for Christmas. Have a safe one. And I want to thank you guys for the year of support for the channel. And I like to wish and thank you guys for letting me know, those of you who passed your theory test. I'm so glad that you guys have passed, and that is why I'm doing this. It really makes me feel good that you guys are passing the theory test with the helps of the video and any other bits and pieces that I'm doing to help you guys. But also let me know what you want to see for next year. I'm trying to base or build the channel around your guys' needs. I know you want driving videos, I know you want to do mock tests, and I know you guys want an online course. Those are all coming hopefully in the first quarter of next year. So keep checking back for those of you who passed the theory and doing the driving test. Just want to wish you guys a happy Christmas.